Let me ask you, Tia.
Okay, go ahead.
How hard is it in the dating world now?
Oh my God.
What is it like out there for
Do we
a
have
single
a
woman?
shot of tequila? No. No,
I haven't been single for 5 years, so I don't know what this world is like out there. But I know it. But from what I see and from what I hear, it is tough.
It is very tough. I will say I've only been in the dating world for, I want to say 3 months now, and it is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I want to throw the towel in. I'm like, what is wrong with, you know? And I will say this.
Okay.
Someone had told me, and I wanted to be like, no, I disagree with you, and I don't want to believe it. They were like, you just, because my last relationship when dating was, when I was, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. There was courting that was, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, present, meaning like people just don't court each other anymore. And this person was like, well, that's old news. Like people just don't do that anymore. There's just this whole new way of doing things. And I'm like, you mentioned tradition, and I think that's where it kind of needs to go back to, where, a man is courting a woman and showing her, how much he appreciates her and wants her and loves her, or wants to be with her. And I feel like what's happening now, and again, I've only been in the world for a few months, is they have this mentality right off the bat that there is someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be someone else.
Is it that they're the prize?
Yes.
We talking deep here.
Yes.
We about to get into it.
Oh my God, that the man is the prize.
The man is the prize.
Yes. I'm talking loud. Yes.
It's Babe. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back in the video, and I am here to talk about this whole Tia situation. For those of y'all who don't know, which you should know if you clicked on this video, but I will explain anyway. So basically, it came out earlier this year that Tia, who you guys know from Sister, basically divorced her husband, Cory. Ever since the announcement of their divorce, a lot of people have had different opinions on it, as people do, especially when these celebrities get divorced. The way that Tia spoke about her divorce, I think, is what bothered people and upset people so bad. Even though I don't think that anybody's divorce or anybody's relationship should affect anybody on a personal level, but a lot of people took issue to the fact that she was viewing her divorce in a positive light, which I don't see what's wrong with that. I mean, divorce in itself, right, isn't a positive thing per se, but it just depends on the situation. If you're getting out of a relationship that was toxic, that was abusive, or just overall wasn't making you happy, some people view that as a positive thing. And I think for her, she just felt like that relationship and that marriage, in her words, was no longer serving her. And I think that hearing that for a lot of people triggered them, because for one, right, I think, and also this is different for everybody, right, in terms of, at what point in a relationship do you decide to stick it out and work through it, versus coming to the decision that maybe it's just not working, and no matter how much you do or how much therapy you do, that it's just not working out and that it's time to call it quits. That's a very difficult decision for a lot of people. And sometimes people are mentally checked out of a relationship, but they won't necessarily leave. But we've been seeing a lot of divorces pop up more and more, and I think a lot of people are feeling as though people don't take marriage as seriously as they used to. They feel like people don't work for it. But also, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, and we don't know if Tia and Cory did try to work things out. We don't know to what extent they tried to work things out. We also don't know anything other than what they've told us, which isn't much. I mean, yes, Tia has said like, oh, like we grew apart and it's no longer serving me, but we really don't know the ins ins and outs of that relationship, and Cory has essentially not said anything really. I think it's just interesting to see how everybody is taking in this news. And recently she did an interview, right? She did an interview where she talked about her dating life. And this is not the first time that she has talked about her dating life publicly. She's actually been making quite a bit of content on this, whether it be on her TikTok or on Instagram. She's been making a lot of videos kind of poking fun at her dating life, but some people took it as she was complaining about her dating life, which to a certain extent she is, and I do feel like, with certain jokes there is a level of truth to that. And a lot of her content as of recently has been about her struggles with dating. And that is what she covered in this interview. She talked about how nowadays men don't want to properly court women and that it's just a different time. And a lot of women have been talking about this for a minute now, about how just the dating culture in general is just very weird and very backwards. And again, you see a lot of the gender wars going on. Like, it's just a very weird time right now. And it's a very difficult time for people that are actively trying to date. And in her talking about her struggles with dating, right, of course, people were like, well, hey, you asked for this. People were saying that, you decided to get divorced. You felt like you no longer wanted to be in your marriage. And so you now have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And you now have to be out here dealing with this. Like, people were literally saying, like, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be single again. You wanted to see what was out there. So now you got your wish. Here's the thing, right? Again, I don't think that the answer to this is to tell somebody to stay in something that they don't want to be in. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people stay in relationships that they don't want to be in. Of course, there's a really big part of you that still wants to stick it out and work through it and see if it'll get better. But you get to a certain point where you really have to ask yourself, am I happy? Are my needs being fulfilled? Are we working? Are we working out? Or are we just sticking through it out of being comfortable and out of convenience? Like, you really have to ask yourself, like, is this relationship making me happy? But I just think in general, a lot of people stay in situations that just don't serve them. And you really have to ask yourself, have I done everything that I know how to keep this relationship going? Is the other person meeting me where I'm at? Are they putting in the same amount of energy that I am? And if they're not, and you don't see the relationship going in a positive direction, I understand why people end things. Now, yes, I also believe that if you are married to that person, I do think you should exhaust every single option available to try and salvage that relationship. But again, we don't know if they've done that already. And so I think for so many people to come out and literally say that she should go back to Cory or that she should have never left just because the current dating culture is trash, I just don't agree with that at all. Because it's like, it's either she's going to be unhappy in a marriage or she's going to be, which mind you, we don't even really know if she's unhappy single. I mean, yes, you could assume that based on the fact that she's complaining about, dating and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know, overall, she doesn't seem unhappy or miserable in my opinion. She seems to be doing rather well from what we can see on the outside. And again, it's all speculation, right? Like, everybody's opinions and things like that, it's all speculation. But I just can't imagine that she would want to go back to something that she actively chose to not be in, and I'm sure it was for a reason. And I know it's easy to say too that it's the men out there that's pushing that narrative, because it is a lot of them, don't get me wrong. There's definitely a narrative being pushed out there that women should stick in relationships that they don't want to be in, or be with men that they don't want to be with because, them being older, and how a lot of men don't want to date women that are of a particular age or whatever the case may be. But I will say, it's not just the men that are shaming Tia for what she said. I've also seen a lot of women surprisingly saying the same thing, like literally telling her, go back to your husband, like, go back and make that work because there's nothing better out here.
Tia Mowry, very surprising tweet the other day, okay? She says on Twitter, I know that love will find me again. I was a little shocked by that because I'm like, sweetie, love is still here. Your husband, who's still your husband, wants you to come home. I talked to him the other night in the DM. Okay? He still loves you. He's still very much married to you. And I thought this divorce was supposed to be for you to find you. But instead, you on Twitter trying to find somebody else. And you know why? Because she horny.
And again, it's like if you're with somebody that you don't want to be with, that isn't making you happy and whatever else, why would you want that person to settle? Like, why would you not want that person to find better and to find someone that does make them happy? Like, I just don't get that either. Like, why would you push for someone to be in something that isn't making them happy? Like, for what? But like I said, I think it goes to show you how much people do that in their own personal lives. They feel like they can't get, someone better in their lives. They feel like they got the best that they can possibly get, even if what they have isn't making them happy. And so they're someone that would, stay in a situation that isn't making them happy. And so they're projecting that onto her. Now, with all of that being said, right, I do think that if Tia doesn't want to hear the opinions of others online about her dating life, then she shouldn't talk about it. Like, that is another thing as well. Is like, if she is going to make all of these TikToks about how her dating life sucks, if she's going to go on these interviews and talk about how, it's horrible out here and how men don't want to court and all these different things, she's gonna have to expect, especially with her being in the public eye and her divorce being public, that people are going to have opinions. People are going to have strong opinions. That's just kind of how things are nowadays. People have very strong opinions about, these celebrities and their relationships. And, everyone has an opinion, right? And so if you don't want to invite those opinions into your life, then you can't put that out. Or if anything, fake it till you make it. Don't suggest that you're struggling at all. Make it seem like you're having the time of your life. Whatever you got to do to protect your mental peace. But if you're going to go online to talk about how horrible dating is, then you have to expect that people are going to be like, well, maybe you shouldn't have left your marriage. But, so I don't know. It's challenging. And I'm also not saying, too, that she shouldn't have addressed it. I mean, granted, she didn't have to. She could have ignored a lot of the criticism that she was getting. She did respond to a few people on Twitter that felt like she, was being very emotional and, she just shouldn't say anything at all or address anything at all. But we also have to remember that these celebrities are human beings. They are human beings with feelings. A lot of people tend to forget this, especially with the way that people come after celebrities and attack them and act as if they, again, are not human beings. I think we have to remind ourselves that, they are human. And if you wouldn't say these things to someone in your life or someone that you know personally, that you probably shouldn't be saying it to them. And so I'm not even saying that she's wrong for wanting to defend herself, because again, I can imagine how frustrating that is for, again, the blogs and people online to create this false narrative around you and making it seem like, that you're miserable without, Cory or whatever. But also when you're kind of putting out content that may suggest that, you also can't be surprised that that's how people take it, because people are going to create any narrative that they want to about you, and it doesn't matter how much you say or how much you try to clear it up. People are going to have their opinions. People are going to look at things from their own perspective, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much you try to clear it up or you try to change the narrative. People are going to stick to what they believe in. And so there's going to be people that no matter what she says or no matter how much she comes out and says, no, like, I'm happy, like, I'm okay with my decision, like, I moved on, there's still going to be people that are going to say, no, you're not moved on, you need to go back to him, X, Y, and Z, right? I say all that to say, right, listen, at the end of the day, it was her decision. I don't know if their divorce is finalized, but as I said, Cory hasn't came out and said anything, so it seems like a pretty peaceful situation. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of like toxicness or animosity towards each other. And so I think it is just one of those situations where they couldn't work it out and they've agreed to go their separate ways. And that's that. And again, I'm so sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He's making so much noise. But anyway, I think Tia thought that, she could talk about her dating life online without it leading to any type of negativity, because she was kind of making, lighthearted, jokey content around it. And I also think this might have been her way of coping and getting through her divorce as well, because I'm not going to sit up here and assume that it's not affecting her at all. I mean, it's a divorce. I don't care how put together someone may appear online. I'm sure behind closed doors, you know, she's probably has, you know, shed some tears. Like, just because you make a decision that you know is right for you doesn't mean it wasn't a hard decision to make. Again, I can speak to that as well. When you have to move on and let somebody go that you really wanted things to work out and you really saw a future with that person, it's still painful. Even if you know deep down inside that it was the right decision, it's still painful. But that doesn't mean that you should go back to something that no longer serves you. And so I think with Tia, I'm sure she has shed her tears and she has grieved that relationship, and she might still have some memories and some feelings attached to that marriage. But if she really felt in her heart that it was time to let it go, I'm sure she has made peace with that, and she has now come out and said that she has moved on and she's okay with her decision. And so I am choosing to, you know, believe that, but I also recommend that she just doesn't make any more content about her dating life, because people are going to view it in a negative way and they're going to, you know, shame her about it. So if I were her, I just, you know, keep making your content, of course, but maybe when it comes to your dating life or anything like personal that you have going on, seeing how the internet reacted to this, I think that I would just not even discuss my dating life on a public platform, because clearly people are going to find a way to make you feel as though that you didn't make the right decision, and people are going to use this as an opportunity to project their own insecurities. And so I think moving forward, she should just keep all of that to herself, just to avoid any backlash moving forward. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole situation in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.